Hi, in today's lecture, we will look into the different joints which are used to connect two shafts. Some of the joints which we will be looking into today are bolts and nuts along with riveted joints. So first let us look into riveted joints. So riveted joints are permanent fastenings, or they can also be detachable or temporary type of fastenings. So there are different rivets available in the market. So we will be looking into the different types of rivets and its arrangement in between two shafts or two plates to be connected. So the method of riveting is initially you place the rivet inside the hole, and then you use caulking or fullering for attaching or making sure that the rivet completely enters in between the two plates. So the parts of the rivet are the head, the tail, and the body. So these are some of the types of rivets based upon the angle of the shape of the head. So we can see we have a snap head, we have pan head, mushroom head, countersunk head with 180 to 120 degrees. Here we have flat counter head with 90 degrees, and then we have flat countersunk head with 60 degrees, and we have a round countersunk with a head 60 degrees, and we also have flat head type of rivets. So there are a number of rivets available. So there are two types of joints. We have the lap joint and the butt joint. So rivets are used to connect two plates using a lap joint or even a butt joint. So there are different types of butt joints. We have a single strap butt joint and a double strap butt joint. In a single strap butt joint, the edges of the main plates butt against each other, and only one cover plate is placed along one side, and they are riveted together. In a double strap butt joint, the edges of the main plates butt against each other, and there are two cover plates on both the sides of the main plates that are riveted together. So here we can see a picture of a single riveted lap joint. So here we can see there are two plates which are placed one over the other in the form of a lap joint, and then we have single riveted joints. So here we can see there is a single riveted double strap butt joint. So we have a butt joint placed, and we have single rivets, and we have it is a double strap. So on both sides we have plates on top, and at the bottom we have plates, after which they are completely riveted together. So here we can see a double riveted joint. Here in a double riveted joint is where there are two rows of rivets. If it's a single riveted joint, it is a single row of rivets. If it's a double riveted joint, there are two rows of rivets. So here we can see a lap joint, and we can see there are two rows of rivets. Either they can be parallel to each other, chain riveting, or they are in zigzag manner, which is known as zigzag riveting. And then here we can see a double riveted double strap. So here we can see butt joints which are double strapped. On both sides you have plates, and you can see double riveted or two rows of rivets. Here it is chain riveting, and whereas here in this picture you can, to the right, you can see zigzag riveting. Here you can see the triple riveted lap joint. So it's a lap joint where there are three rows of rivets, and here we can see it is chain riveting, and here we can see in figure B it is a zigzag type of riveting. Here we can see a double riveted double strap unequal butt joint with zigzag type of riveting. So here there are two rows of rivets for the double strap type of butt joint which is having a zigzag type of arrangement. Here we can see a triple riveted double strap butt joint which is unequal. So it's a double strap butt joint, but the straps are of unequal or unequal size. So on the top the strap is smaller, and the bottom the strap is longer, and we can see there are three rows of rivets which are in a zigzag manner. Some of the important terms used in riveted joints. So pitch. So pitch is represented with the term P. So it is the distance between two rivet centers. And then back pitch, it is represented by the term PB. It is the distance between two rows of rivets. And then we have diagonal pitch. In case of a zigzag riveted setup, the distance between two rivets which are in zigzag manner, which are parallel along the axis, and so the distance between them is PD, which is a diagonal pitch. Margin or marginal pitch is represented by the term M, and it is the distance between the central axis of the rivet and to the nearest edge of the plate. So some of the failures in riveted joints. So the first failure is tearing at the edge of the plate. So tearing along the edge of the plate where the rivet is connected might cause a failure. So we have to keep the margin M as 1.5D, where D is the diameter of the rivet hole, to prevent such a failure. The second type of failure is tearing of the plate across the row of rivets. So along the row of rivets, you can see a crack is there. So this is a type of a failure. So here we can see that because of this failure, this failure is also called as tearing resistance or tearing strength, or it's also known as tearing value of the plate. So we can calculate by the equation tearing area of the pitch, which is equal to P minus D into T. P minus D is nothing but the distance between one center of the rivet and the other center of the rivet. So we know that the diameter of the rivet is small d, and the distance between the two centers of the rivets is P. So the distance between them is P minus D. So we can calculate the tearing area between two rivets as the area of the per pitch length, which is equal to P minus D into the T, which is the thickness of the plate. So the tearing resistance or pull, which is required to pull the plate along the rivets per pitch length, is area into stress. So pull is equal to area into stress. Where we know the area equation, we can multiply it with the tensile stress. The third type of failure is the shearing of the rivets. So if there is a shear failure, you can see that the rivet actually breaks. So here you can see it's a lap joint. You can see the rivet breaks into two. Here it is a double covered butt joint. So we can see that the rivet is broken into three parts or three components. So this resistance offered by the rivet to be sheared is known as shearing resistance or shearing strength or shearing value of the rivet. So we can calculate that using the shearing area, which is equal to pi by 4 d square, because this is the area where the shearing failure occurs. So we consider that area, contact area, as pi by 4 into d square, where d is the diameter of the rivet. So this is in single shear. If it's in double shear, it is 2 into, and it's theoretically 2 into pi by 4 d square, but in real time the value is only 1.875 into pi by 4 d squares, from which we can calculate the pull resistance or the shearing resistance, which is pi by 4 d square into the shear stress into the number of bolts or the rivets. Next is the crushing of the plate or the rivets. So this resistance offered by the rivet to be crushed is known as crushing resistance, crushing strength, or bearing value of the rivet. So here we can see the crushing area per rivet is AC, which is equal to D into T. The total crushing area will be N into D into T, where N is the number of rivets per pitch length under crushing, from which you can calculate the crushing resistance or the pull using the equation load is equal to area into the stress. So crushing resistance is equal to N into D into T into the crushing stress, sigma C. Thank you.